It's 7 o'clock and y'all want to, we'll get started. And the first thing on the thing is get Brother Benny to do the invocation and we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Merciful God, our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this good day. We even thankful for the rain that has fallen that nourishes the earth. Grateful for interest on the part of these people here at this time in this community. Bless their discussions. May the truth of what's best for this community come out. And may those who are steadfast and those who are in trouble receive help from thee. Mayor Barnes and his family as they go through trying times. May the procedures being used and done be successful. Bless us with the proper spirit as we live. Help us do what's right. In the name of Jesus. Amen.
Okay, we do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We always have citizens input at the first of the meetings before we call the meeting order, and I think Miss Barbara said she had somebody.
Yeah, I want to introduce Shirley Lowe from Lewisburg with the Pregnancy Resource Center, and she has some things that she wants to tell what's going on at her place.
Thank you. In 2002, there was a group of people in the Lewisburg area that got together to form a pregnancy resource center. And you might not know what that is, but what we do is we are a pro-life, 100% pro-life. We do not do abortions in our office like some people thought we did, but we do not do that. But we're 100% pro-life. We are a nonprofit organization, and we help women and families in crisis pregnancy. I don't think that Lincoln County has one, so any girl that would like to come to our center in Lincoln County would definitely be able to do that. What we do besides just opening our doors and seeing who comes through, it is kind of an interesting thing. We are there to help the abortion vulnerable girl. We give her information, and hopefully she will choose life for her baby. If she doesn't, that is her decision, and we are there for her for post-abortion counseling, which she will probably need. They say that there's about a 10-year span between an abortion and then the time when it really sinks in what has happened. And then she kind of panics because here she is in a situation that she begins to feel the guilt. We are a Christian organization, pro-life and definitely a faith-based organization. We are denominational and non-political. We are really there for anyone in a non-judgmental atmosphere to help in any situation that involves pregnancy or a family that is in need. We have a baby boutique where the girls can get diapers and wipes and baby beds, just about anything, but it's not a giveaway program. It is one that they earn points through taking counseling, hopefully to make better decisions in the future, to also teach them how to take care of that baby. If they're pregnant, to teach them what's going on in their body so they'll be more able to have a healthy pregnancy. And all of these points can be used in, we have a room that is probably, in our new facility, which we just moved into, it's probably probably to the door over there where it says police chief, this big. And it is just filled with new and gently used baby items and maternity clothes. And these are donated. We never charge any money for any We get our money from churches, civic clubs, individuals, businesses who want to donate. And it seemed like at first, I remember one of our chairmen of the board said that it was the best kept secret in Marshall County that we even had a pregnancy center. It was because we were on a side road and nobody knew that we were there. And about 3.5 years ago, we moved to East Commerce Street. Everything changed. And then we just recently moved to West Commerce, which is the 5,900 square feet building, which we are really, we're all spread out and having a wonderful time enjoying it. I would like to invite all of you to our open house. It's going to be Sunday. Sunday is Sanctity of Human Life Sunday. You may have Sunday school classes on that this Sunday, but it is Sanctity of Human Life, and I thought that was a very appropriate time to have our open house. So if you can come for dessert between 2 and 4, we'll give you a tour and let you see for yourself what is happening. We do not accept government funding, so therefore we are able to, when God opens the door for us to talk to a girl about her spiritual matters, then we can do that because we do not take government funding. Now, I don't know if you know what Sanctity of Human Life Sunday is, so let me explain that really quickly. In 1973, Roe versus Wade decision was handed down by the Supreme Court legalizing abortion in the United States. Since that time, 55 million babies have been aborted. That's pretty serious. So we are here to hopefully, the tide is changing. Young people are beginning to get the idea that no, this is not the way we want to go. We have very few people coming in now for abortion counseling, or pre-abortion counseling, but it's still out there, and we need to counter that. But I do want you to know that you're welcome to come, and if you know of any girls and families that might need our services, please send them our way. And if I want to go ahead and, if I may, leave these for, if you'll just pass those around, for everyone. And I'll put some of these on the table up here for you to use. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. We will be glad to help you. Last year, we had, or 2013, we had 2012, because we don't have our totals for this year, 2,997 hours and 50 minutes of volunteer time. So we have about 30 volunteers who believe in what we're doing and are there for our clients. Last year, in 2013, we had 56 new clients besides the ones we were already serving, and 650 office visits. So we do not just sit still. We're very, very busy. But thank you for your time, and I hope that you all will consider letting us be more involved in Petersburg to get our message across. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, okay.
I would like to speak as a citizen. We moved to Petersburg 2011, I think 2011, 21 months ago. And the only disappointing thing at that time was we said, oh man, that is a terrible looking house across from us. But then we were elated when we heard that, oh, with our tax dollars from your pocket and mine, and the city of Petersburg has helped these people secure a grant to tear the house down, build a new house, and that way we would get rid of that sore eyesight across from us that everybody sees as they enter the community of Petersburg. And I reviewed that yesterday. I'd like to pass that out to you and just say, as a citizen, this is what my wife and I look at every day, every morning when we get up, every afternoon. It's what we see when we have guests that come from Lewisburg, or guests that are coming from California, or anywhere. And this is what they look at across the street from us. And what I'd like to find out as a senior citizen, and also as an alderman, is has there been any citation actually issued to that house?
To him, not that I'm aware of.
But I have been on this board now for 10 months, and about every 3 months, we revisit that, and we revisit 2 other pieces of property, which I'll share with you, as when people come from 129, from 231 to 129, and they drive into Petersburg, they hit the city limit sign, they see a couple of nice places there, and then as they reach the intersection of Railroad Avenue and 129, this is what our image of Petersburg is. And we visited this over the last 10 months that I've been here, 3 times at least, I know. And my other question is there any citation that has been issued to either of those places?
This one on the bottom, I believe, not necessarily citations, but I believe they've been given some warnings.
Which one is that?
Figures corner down there. Believe it or not, they've actually improved that. Still got a long way to go.
They have improved.
Yeah, this is started clear back in 2002. I started complaining about that.
So we're
property.
talking 10 years.
Well, the sad part of it is, and I'll say this, is they're taking advantage of their mother because their mother owns the property. And their mother's house looks as bad as that lot there. She can't do anything with them, I know. And I feel sorry for the
Well,
lady.
Let me, can I say something?
Yeah.
There's a black man that lived over here from Spring Street, and I've got all the records on that. The city wrote him up $2,000 worth of fines. $2,000. Now, what's the difference between, he's gone now, and this over here? When you come from Lynchburg into what I would like to see it be a parkway on to Cornersville, all you see is a town dump. Now, I can give you 8 things out of the charter, not charter,
Codes.
Code.
yes, codes that's being violated. One is health and safety, rats, stagnant water. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be addressed, Brad. It needs to, and not only addressed, I've been on the board a lot longer than he has, and I've heard it over and over and over that we're gonna write these letters, but I've asked Angie for a copy of the letters, and we've never seen a letter written yet.
Well, the officers go out and do the citations on those.
But
we
the
don't-
mayor said he was going to write these people letters about this stuff, Angie. It hasn't been done. And, you know, if we want to help clean up Petersburg, we as a board have got to do something. Now, we can't blame it on Sam.
We almost need a full-time codes guy, though. It goes back to,
We've talked about that for the last
have to know-
2 years.
you have to have
We
the
just missed
financial.
it. We just missed that class to get him in when we went to Nashville in November. And we found the next time they're gonna have one of those,
They're just getting ready to put out the new calendar.
you know, and I'm in complete agreement with everybody sitting here,
Yeah,
but it's,
I brought it up time after time about
Well,
Church Street.
to me, it makes a difference in who it is, and that's not right.
Well, it doesn't make any difference to me.
It don't to me either.
I guess the question
If I
comes,
got a problem on my property, I want somebody to say I got a problem.
I guess the question comes now, like 2 months ago, I think we met, and we said, okay, that guy's got 25 rooster cages out there with fighting cocks in them, and he's doing them, and that's against law. Now,
Not up here.
what has been done about that?
Rooster's still there.
In 2 months, roosters there, but
when we left this last meeting, James and Sam was going.
They were going out there.
But it
and,
hadn't been
But
done.
nothing. But anyway, now we can had my citizens 3 minutes.
And
And,
this has been an ongoing problem here forever. It's,
I've been going on with it for 4 years.
well, we've heard of a term that the city of Fayetteville has, what is called a dirty lot law. And I hope to pursue that to find out, actually, Sam alerted me to this. And I want to find out, what did they pass? Is it actually called a dirty lot law? Does it have another name? But it's where you don't have to get into the specifics that grass has to be 19 inches tall before you can go in and do something with it or something. And
Well, I'm not trying to offer any excuses, but this is the best answer I can give you right now. Laws are there, they've been there. I've run into that just with the planning commission alone. Laws have been there since 2005, but why all of a sudden you're going to enforce them because they've been there? I can't help what wasn't enforced, but we draw a line in the sand and say from this point forward, we're enforcing it.
I'm ready to draw a line myself.
I am too, I am too, but.
But we've
there's-
done that a lot
but-
in the planning commission though.
I know, hold on. There is a big difference between having it on the books and having somebody be able to enforce it.
To be able to enforce it.
And the problem, I think, the problem at hand that I see is the manpower to enforce it. Who's going to enforce it? And
they need to know those codes backwards and forwards.
let me
It has-
back up to this. Yeah, we can go out here and write them a letter, or we can write them a citation, but who's to say that person doesn't have enough legal savvy to them to say, you don't have such and such officer certified to write a citation in that? And then they go and fight.
Well,
You know, and that's where we're gonna have to get back. And Sam wants to get certified. He wants to do it. And it's a matter of getting him in that class and getting him certified to do it. And if we get him certified, I feel fairly confident in Sam, he can get out here and he can start getting down to business. And if you've been around Sam any amount of time, you'll know Sam does not discriminate. Sam is right down the middle. He don't care who it is, don't care who your daddy was, how long you've been here, none of that. So, you know, I agree. You know, I've lived here my whole life too. And as long as I can remember, it's kind of been just kind of like this.
Is there a set scheduled penalty, letter of warning, fine? I mean, you can have everything on the books, but you got to have somebody to enforce it.
The
What-
rules are there.
What he's done so far is cited him into court on the first.
the rules are there now. At the same time that Walter was getting fined, there was very little activity over here, back here, over there. But they run up $2,000 on one. Now, and he got a lawyer, and it didn't work for him. And I'm off the board. I'm trying to be a quiet citizen, and it's hard to do sometimes.
I think something needs to be done.
Bella
Well,
would spend a lot of time on our property, and you do too. You know, all of you do. You know, everybody in this room.
You know what it looked like when we got there.
Yeah. I had a citizen's input. I forgot what it was.
One of them senior moments.
Yeah. Oh, dogs. Just, for instance, 4 above 0, I don't think a dog should be chained to a tree and left outside.
That's next door to me.
And across from me, dog this long, this high was out there.
Park.
Well, that's all over town too.
And what a dog across the street does bark, and your little dogs don't bother my little dogs, but you take a bigger dog in the middle of the night, guys decided to go off, so does my dog.
Well, we still got people here in town to keep them up for a while, but they already figured out when the police are here and when they ain't here, and they'll turn them loose.
Hey, my senior moment just come back. Talking to Mr. Garrett. And my long-term concern after I spent time with the senior citizens was to put some time into the building over here. I hear the wiring's being taken out. Somebody's taking the wire out. Now, when we got police officers going around, why can't they go around that building once in a while? You know?
They do, but you know.
Well, that's right
They,
across from
they,
you.
But it's-
Brad, they watch, they know when they gonna
They know.
go off duty. They do it, you know.
They know when we got them on, when they ain't.
And that's what they were doing. They were waiting till late at night when they knew there was nobody here. Hey,
It's
trust
sad-
me,
it's sad, but
nobody
that's
feels
it.
worse about it than I do. It happened right under my nose.
I don't know how much Mr. Hal put into that building over there, but they've taken all the wire out of the scoreboard and everything, and a lot of that
I've
copper
noticed it before.
is gone. So it's gonna be-
Well, it's sad, we just, you know what our police situation is here? Well, anyway. And Laurie, the meeting hadn't even started.
Wrote next book.
Well, we've hashed this so long now, but Angie, would you call the roll call, please?
Call it to order.
I call this meeting to order
Mayor Owen, Vice Mayor Richardson.
here.
Alderman Bolander.
Here.
Alderman Bowles. Alderman McLean.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Woodward. Here.
Okay, the first order of business. Approval of the minutes from last December meeting. Good. Discussion only.
What I do?
Checking the codes on chickens.
We actually read that at the last meeting, if I remember right. Pulled it up and read it.
You pulled it up and read it, and they were going to talk to this lady up here, but Derek told me this week that they, or end of last week, that they were still running at large up there. I told them to start having chicken and dumplings for dinner. Everybody gets through, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed. We'll move on to the financial report. December. 366, then December 733.
We're, I doubled it, we're a full 2 months at one time, so it was.
Angie, what about this delinquent property taxes? Have we collected much, looks like $213? Are we sending any more letters out on that?
I'll send the 2012 letters out when, I guess when the 2013s are, I don't know if I do that when they're due. It's almost time for me to send them out though.
Well, wait a minute, now, I got,
But this is,
maybe I got a problem understanding how it's supposed to work, but if something's delinquent, it's delinquent.
well, the letters we send out is, and I can send one in between, but that we're gonna, getting ready to turn them over to the county.
How much have we turned over to the county?
We haven't done it
Anything?
yet. We have probably 3 properties that we need to. But I've been holding off, and I had some guy bring in $900 something last Friday and paid them, and
From, on all of them?
on one property here. Mhm.
What about the other 2? Is it a different people?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So,
Did that 900 pay it up?
he's caught up until 2013, till May. So.
Till May. Now, the way I understand that, if you turn that over to them, they collect the money and do whatever they can to collect the money, sell the property, we get our money.
We get our money.
And with
Any
no,
attorney fees or anything is over and above.
yeah, we don't pay anything. I think if somebody's been delinquent 2 years or more, they ought to be turned over immediately.
We had a whole lot. And
The letter that you mail out, do they even
Acknowledge it.
oh yeah,
acknowledge
we
it?
had good response. And one of these has actually contacted us and said they were bringing it in, but they haven't. But they owe quite a bit, and I feel
What's
like
quite a bit?
close to $2,000. So
Turn
I
them
feel
over.
like,
It may be my
I think
brother-in-law.
everybody's got to pay their taxes.
I think they do.
Yeah.
They got 2 years.
I don't let my taxes go one day over. I pay them the month they're due, and I think they ought to pay their taxes.
yeah,
But in it by law too, you can't turn them over to collection till 2 years.
2 years,
They have to be 2 years legal before you can actually just
right.
turn them over.
But
But
then-
by law, you turn them over March 14th, they haven't paid their taxes.
Well, ours is May
Yours
2nd,
is
so
May.
we would have to give
I
them,
know
So-
Lake County's May 14th.
Yeah.
They don't pay the taxes May 14th.
we'd have to give them 15 days.
And that's for 2012.
So in May, all those that hadn't paid in 2014, you could turn them over for collection.
The 2012s.
12. Is there a bunch back there?
There's a few 2012. It's not like it was.
I don't think it's not questioning, you could. You have to, don't you?
Oh, yes, you have to.
Yeah, it's a
Why
law
are
that
we
you
not
have to.
doing it then, if we have to?
Of that
But
information.
they're
What
gonna
about,
be 2 years old.
for instance, Angie, 2011, is there anything back there?
There are, I think there's still a few. There's not many. Like I said, it's nothing like it was when we first started this.
But if there's a state law, is that a state law?
I was thinking so.
Well, then we need to be
Compliance.
complying with the state law. I don't care if it is My ex-wife's brother-in-law.
Well, that's not what it is for sure, but
Huh?
nothing.
No, I'm serious. If you got an answer that we don't understand, let us have it.
I have cleaned up so many messes since I've been here, and I'm in the process, so.
Well, I understand that, but let's not let the state come back on us again.
Yeah, I do think that's a point.
Is there
Andy was
a
throwing it to the
list?
fire.
Can I speak? Is there a list that the public can see? You know, in every other county, every other city, they publicize that list, and we're supposed to do that.
Well, we used to put them up out
Can
here.
I get a list of the delinquent taxes?
We can compile one. We don't have one now, but I can get one.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the financial report?
What'd you make the motion for?
Accept the financial report.
He wants a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept.
Do I hear a second? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the police report. Corey, you wanna read that?
I can. Just a second. Monthly activity report for the police, Petersburg Police Department for the month of December 2013. Had 20 traffic stops resulting in 14 citations. 6 warnings were issued, and as a result of those 20 traffic stops, also had 1 arrest. We had 27 calls for service, 3 reckless driver complaints, 1 domestic fight, 4 juvenile calls, 4 motorist assistance, 1 burglary or theft, 4 suspicious persons, 2 disorderly conducts, 6 animal control calls, 1 911 hang-up, 1 fire call, 6 citizens arrest, 1 time assisted Lincoln County. We had 4 reports were taken. They were assisted by Lincoln County once, and ending miles on car 1, 144,799. Ending miles on car 2, 115,852. Ending miles on car 3, 106,384. And for the month of December 2013, they had a total miles driven of 2,344.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the police report?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
I think I would, the animal control calls were just had 6 there. I think during the month of December, we had a few calls on a road deer running around town. So that might have accounted for some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that come across Brad's property.
Oh, he come across mine several times, so.
Bridget told me about that.
But I believe I haven't seen him in a while, so I don't know.
I think he was laying up on the highway on the side of the road dead,
Okay.
because I saw one about that size about a week after.
Stop and get an identification off him?
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Get a paw print.
All right, Mr. Jack.
Well, on your water accountability report, you'll see we're still having some problems with water leakage. We did purchase 2,681,250 gallons, which is about, I would say only about twice as much, but we did bill out 1,906,200 gallons. That means we got a lot of customers out there that had leaks, let the water run during the cold weather. Not as big a difference as you would normally think. We did use some water to flush the month of December, and all that adds up to 29% unaccounted for water, which is better than the 43% we had last month, but still much worse than we're normally around 10 to 15. Which brings me to item 1. It's basically talking about the water usage. And I still think we have some leaks out there, and we're going to look at it one more month, pretty close, and then if we suggesting to have Dan Weaver, the leak detection guy, come back in the near future if we continue to have, we can't afford to have 30% loss on a regular basis. Hard to tell you where and when and how much the leaks are, but I do think, because, during the winter months, people will let the water run, and I think our actual billing would be $906,200, that's up from our normal billing too, so we just gotta keep an eye on that and then just plug all the leaks, that's all we gotta do.
On unaccounted for water, and I'll probably ask Bobby, is, y'all been having a whole lot of fires here lately. Would that be showing up on this anywhere, Bobby?
Yeah, he gives me a report, and that's that 4,900 gallon. Bobby turns in a report to me, and that's what that 4,900 is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I hear a motion to accept this.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Oh,
Not
okay.
done.
Sorry
Just
about
with
that.
item one there. Item two is, just let you know, the water quality reports are gonna be coming up due for this year. They're due in July, but I always try to get them done fairly early, so March, April, May, I'll try to get them done and get them ready to get out. And then the last item is basically an update on the grant. We did have our pre-construction meeting on December the 18th, 3:30 with Ronald and Frank Construction, along with the engineers, Griggs and Maloney, and Sarah Brown from South Central Tennessee Development District, discussing the project details. Ronald and Frank Construction are going to be doing the work. Of course, Griggs and Maloney's our engineer, and of course, Sarah Brown, South Central Tennessee Development District, they're the ones that are administering the grant. So we're working through the details. January 15th is the start date, official start date. They'll come in here on January 15th, or they can come in here on January 15th, and they will be done on or before June 16th. And we will, starting January 15th, Tim and I will be keeping a log, and we did discuss, every time they come into town to work, they have to notify the town to say, hey, we're here working. A couple reasons for that we'd like to know. Second reason is, I don't want some customer calling and say, hey, what's happening up here? Somebody's trying to get into your tank. We just want to make sure we know they're here, and that way if somebody does call, say, hey, somebody's up there getting into your water tank. But we discussed all those things in our requirements. We also have had Attorney Ed Sims reviewing the contract documents. That's a requirement. He has looked at them. He's already signed them, and Griggs and Maloney picked them up, and they are distributing those to the necessary people of the state. South Central Tennessee Development District get one contract, and we will too. Just a copy of the contract, what spells out what they're supposed to do. Our responsibilities, their responsibilities, and that kind of thing. So, look, January 15th, weather is always a problem here. So I won't say they will be there on the 15th. They could be, but from there on, they will be off and on. They'll be up there. And they're going to probably work on the road to the tank the very first. And they're going to keep the livestock gates shut and all that spelled out on the plans. So we're going to keep an eye on it.
I hope they put a gate up there to open and close.
Yeah, well, it's not in the project, but we might coerce them to put in a new gate, or, we might look at that.
It
Be their benefit and ours too.
It needs a couple there, it swings to the drag.
But we're looking forward to the grant, getting all that done, and it'll be done by this summer, and it'll be good. By the way, in conjunction with that, we did have our first disinfectant byproduct testing that we were required to start doing in November. We took it, and all the results came back under the limits. So I was glad about that. I think probably the summer months are usually the worst time, so we'll see what happens. We got to take it once a quarter. Another one in February, then May, and then I think it's February, then 3 months later, whatever. So, but I was pleased to see that everything was in good shape so far. And that's part of the construction that we're doing. Putting in the mixer and some things that we're doing to the reservoir will help us to make sure that we do not violate those disinfectant byproducts. So that was part of the reason for the grant. Now I'm done.
All right, I hear a motion to accept the water report.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Old business, senior citizen.
Well, I guess I need to give you a progress report on what's been going on down there. Slide some of them down. This is just, and I think there's one on the window out there. one of the calendar of events for January. One of the things that Miss Bruton has been doing for us. Oh, yeah. I'm going to start with, since the 1st of November, and I'm going to just read this, some of the things we put together. Since the 1st of November, we've had a number of volunteers involved in the operation of the daily activities of the Senior Center. South Central Resources, Human Resources, hired Trish Bruton as an on-site nutrition manager to oversee the proper handling and the hot meals that were delivered each day to the center. When we took over the 1st of November, there were 7 active members. And y'all know, and Angie knows too, that center had just dwindled down to nearly nothing. Today, we now have over 26 members with an average of 11 per day that come. Plans are in the making to mail out a flyer. Tim Hill put together a list of 55 and older people that live in the Petersburg area, and we're going to do mail a brochure out to them within the next week or so, advertising the center, requesting that they come, check us out, volunteers, whatever they want to do. We do have 9 meals that can be served there, but there's a lot of things. A lot of people come like for the activities, and the meals are secondary. But anyway, we're hoping to get more people to come and be involved in the center. Trish Bruton plans to visit the local churches and invite the seniors to come to the center and find out what we've got to offer them. Rather than staying at home watching TV or doing nothing, they can come over there and get involved in exercises. They can get involved in bingo, rook, other things that have been that are going to be designed for them. We even have bluegrass picking once a month over there now. So, there's just a lot of things that can be done. During the past 10 weeks, we have had 4 volunteers making home deliveries for the South Central. That's 720 miles driven with a total of 45 hours volunteered and over $125 of, get this, out-of-pocket expense that we have paid out of these volunteers, myself, Barbara, and others, pockets that for gasoline to make these deliveries, and we may or may not be reimbursed by South Central for this. We were told that we were, and then we were told that no, we wouldn't be because of certain things, and we've got to get that cleared up. But hours have been spent down there cleaning the building up. The building was really filthy when we moved in there. I'll be one to attest to that. The building is clean now. There's a lot of repainting been done. A lot of maintenance has been done to plumbing and so forth. And we have done a lot. And remember, this is the town of Petersburg's building, not our building. And but we are allowed to use it by the town. And tonight we had our special call meeting. We amended the bylaws and approved them. A new board is in place and was ratified tonight. Everything is in place. We hired Ed Sims to help us out, and we're hoping a lot of this is going to be pro bono. We think it will be because he knew what the situation was. But he helped us get these bylaws done right, and he said we need to make sure everything is legal. So everything has been done legally. Our board is in place. Our bank accounts have been secured by the new board, and we are now looking for people in the city of Petersburg to come help us out and attend and enjoy the things that go on over there. Right now, and this is going to become something that I'll do just in a minute. We are now at a crossroads to keeping the center going at the momentum that we have now. Trish started working at the center as a volunteer, later indicated that she would like to become the site nutrition manager, and which she was hired for that. Trish is paid 3 hours per day by the center, not the center, but by South Central, the nutrition center. And we had discussed at a prior meeting that the town of Petersburg kick in 10 hours a week to be paid to Trish. And at this time, I am going to make a motion that the town of Petersburg pay Trish 10 hours a week to help supplement this, because if we don't, she's going to have to look for a job that pays more hours, and we will lose her, and we will be back to where we were in October and 1st of November. So I make that motion, do I?
I'll second it.
Okay, anybody got anything else to say?
I was just asking how much an hour.
903 or 9 something.
But she said
Matching the South Central, what they're doing.
But I think it was
67,
agreed that it would be $9.
Yeah, 9 instead of 903.
Yeah.
And then annual cost on it would be about 67.
Well, we already paying the water and giving them $1,500 a year on their gas now. And the time you do this, it's gonna run up around over $6,000 we're gonna be putting in there. My only concern is when I first came on this board, we were $24,000 overdrawn at the bank. I run up and down the road, me and Phil McMillan forever begging things. And I'll go along with hiring somebody right now, but I won't put a cattail in there that if finances start going back, we will have to look at canceling the pay on that. As long as the finances are running good, fine. But if we start getting in financial trouble again, we're gonna start cutting back.
Oh, yeah. We'd have to look at
I
everything.
mean, I don't know misunderstandings on that. Last time we had to lay John Crabtree off and put Merle on 4 days a week and everything, so. And my way of thinking, if things start going bad again, we're gonna start at the last thing we had to do.
Hopefully clean this town up a little more, we can get a little more business in here.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, all right, motion been made and seconded. We hire, what was the lady's name?
Trish Bruton.
Trish Bruton. Is there any more discussion?
My only,
That should be as an independent.
We can't do that.
Independent.
MTS says we can't do that, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work with the taxes and everything.
you know, I can appreciate
Independent contractor.
the effort that's been put in down there. I know you've taken a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sweat, and tears been put into it. I know you had a big job on your hands. My concern is bringing another expenditure on the town. I personally cannot go along with it this time when I have a volunteer fire chief that is putting his personal time into protecting personal property here in this town, that he's not reimbursed one.
You have a chance to vote on it, you can vote yes or no.
Well, I'm just saying.
I brought it up as a
Well,
motion, it's been seconded.
Chairman called for a discussion, that's my discussion on it. It's
But
not-
we knew that you were gonna be against it, because you'd already told one of our board members that you were against it, so.
Well, now, he's got the right to be against it just
Yeah,
like.
he does, just like you have a right to.
Not to
But
say I'm
I've
not
spent,
against it,
I've
but I
spent
agree with
countless
him,
hours
too.
down there doing something for, and I don't care for myself. I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for the citizens of Petersburg.
I would also remind that we have a Parks and Rec board that works for the town and the citizens of this town too. and they have not accepted the first penny of taxpayer money. Everything that they have done, they started out with next to nothing and have as much money as you all have in the bank right now. And that's all from money that they have got out and worked for and raised themselves. Like I said, I can appreciate everything that's been done down there, but this time, I can't go along with it.
We'll take a vote on it and see.
Well, what are you talking? Okay, let's talk about where the money's coming from. If it's gonna be independent, she said something about.
I don't think we can do it as an independent contractor. I've touched bases with MTS on it. I was trying to schedule a meeting with Chapel Hill because they have a similar situation that we do. But they've had some things happen up there and we're not gonna be able to meet with them at this time. So-
Lewisburg has the same thing.
Did they have, well, Chapel Hill's kind of on our order as far as size-wise and stuff, so.
Okay. Your motion was made that we, the town, pay for it, so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Ayes have it. Okay, new business, work on the charger again.
Well, we knew the brake work was coming, but the brake work's not near as bad as we thought it was gonna be. It's, basically what's gonna have to be done is the upper ball joints, the tie rods, the labor, alignments of the wheels, the brakes is all gonna come to $1,039.68. And it's in really bad shape, they said. But the brake works, the other place told us it was gonna cost more than that to fix them, so we're actually coming out better and getting all the,
Are we keeping any record of how many miles is put on this thing between pit stops?
it seems like it's every other month we're doing something to it.
Well, that new car that we bought turned out to be a lemon, didn't it, Ken?
That there has been a sour taste of it.
But most of this here is just maintenance. You know, you're gonna have,
Yeah, but
How many miles is on the car, for instance?
What is it?
Roughly.
Part three?
Is it 3?
106,384.
106?
how many was on it when we got it, you remember?
You remember how many?
About 50.
No, it wasn't that.
70 something?
We'll say it's 75, 80,000.
I don't think we put that many miles on that, maybe mine.
But anyway,
It's one of those things that's gonna have to be done. It's just,
Well, who we gonna get to do it?
okay, Tire, out of Lewisburg, so we got the price
who?
from. Okay, Tire, from Lewisburg.
They gonna guarantee anything?
Well, I'll tell you what they did. Our water pump went out, and we called them to have a new one put in. And he said, I believe we've already put one in. And went and looked, and sure enough, so it was done for free. You know, they're really good about keeping up with their records on things like
We
that.
had a battery go out in it back around right before Christmas, and it was warranted too.
Yeah.
So we got
That's the
it.
good thing
I
about
thought
doing
that
business
battery
with the
come up
same
there.
ones over and over. If you got somebody that's good, you know, they'll keep
Okay,
up.
usually, they pretty straight up, but
Well, he's been straight
Like I
up with
say,
us on when we take something, he says, I can't do that. So, you know, he's been really good about that.
You talking about how much money?
$1,039.68.
And say again what that's covering, Nancy.
The upper ball joints, the tie rods, labor, wheel alignments, and the brakes.
And that's full brakes.
Labor machine, all 4 rotors. They said everything else was in good shape.
machine the rotors.
Boy, damn.
You can put new rotors on now about as cheap as you can turn them.
But,
I don't think you can put the police editions on for the price you can.
yeah.
Police editions like triple the price is regular.
Okay, now here a motion we perform the work on the charger.
We don't got a choice, so I'll make that motion.
Sell it.
Thank you.
That's what we got
You're
out
going
there.
to-
I was looking at this, Oh, well, go ahead and let's finish this up.
Motion
You
been
second
made.
that?
Second. Motion been made and seconded. We let OK Tower do the work on the charger.
Right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
So now we have 3 vehicles, and the 3 vehicles we drove a total of 2,300 miles. So we had 3 vehicles, a month of service, 700, only averaging 700 miles, 800
No.
miles apiece.
That car there is probably
The black and
70%
white
of
is
that.
drove every day. The other
Okay.
just drove about once a week.
Okay.
Sam's only here one day, 1 week.
I wondered.
and
Karen's here
'Cause
12 hours, 18 hours.
That's what we drive in a month on the Jeep.
What is Brian? Brian is he 5 days a week or
Yeah.
what?
5, sometimes 6, when needed.
And how many nights is Sam working?
This week he'll work 1 night. Next week he'll work Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. This week he'll work Thursday.
He usually works on Monday night, but he works at the county at night.
Is that the only estimate you got, just one person?
You think it's high?
Well, actually not, because
No, you should have 3 estimates.
we had the dealership. We don't even trust dealerships anymore. What they've done has been,
Been to Columbia?
we've been over there and we've been to Winchester.
But
Yeah,
I know Winchester, he started off ripping us.
Yeah.
I agree that you do get a sense of keeping good records,
Yeah, we need to try to get
but
it.
I wouldn't be opposed to having somebody like Brown's quote it, and maybe even somebody like even Fair Tire and they'll quote it. Because I was thinking the same thing. It's just one quote.
Can you do a motion? We've got to be fixed, so can
It's
y'all do
gotta
a
be fixed, yeah,
motion?
you don't want to drag it out.
There are certain rules when.
Can we change that?
Emergency
Can I change that motion?
We haven't done that, we haven't closed it yet.
Angie, change my motion to get the car fixed at OK Tire if Brown and Farah are not cheaper. And then, I guess, go with the cheapest one.
All right. Well, like
Second.
Corey says, them other 2 are pretty reliable too. Okay, motion been made and seconded. We can get the charger fixed and get 2 more estimates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries. New building inspector.
I guess 1, 2, 3 of you here on the planning commission know that for the last year or so, Mike Zimmerly from Chapel Hill has been serving in the capacity of our building inspector. He was on a contract as needed basis. His fees were paid out of the fees we collect out of building permits, whatnot. So it's not like he was on the payroll. He was, whatever he did, there was fees, a fee schedule in place to cover it. However, it came to my attention, I guess, late December, or late November, midway through December, that some of the certification he's required to carry in order to do some of our inspections was up for renewal, and he just felt that with the capacity of work that he's taken on here in the last year or so, that it wasn't a cost benefit for him to renew that certification. So it's kind of left us in a spot where we need to find a building inspector that hopefully will work on the same terms that Mr. Zimmerly has, on a contract as needed basis when we need him to come in and do an inspection, say, for example, where the Baptist Church has been doing their expansion up there. Just somebody come in and do those 4 inspections for us. Of course, now, when it gets into a zoning type thing, I've been trying to go out and handle that, which most of the time that's just going out and stepping off, making sure things are so many feet from whatever it's supposed to be. It doesn't take long to do it at all, not hard to do it. But I would like to ask that we advertise for someone to apply for this position. You know, as I said before, this is something we already had. We've approved this position before, with it being a contract spot. I just am asking for the board to permission or a motion or whatever you want to call it to advertise for someone. And it's, you know, most of these home inspection businesses around here, most of them have got the certification. It's going to be necessary for that anyway. I had hoped I could talk Mr. Don Nelson with Marshall County into it, but he's kind of got his hands full right now between the CKNA inspection and a lot of building going on in the north end of the county. He pretty well got his plate full, and Marshall County kind of frowns upon paying him to come down here and do work for the city of Petersburg at the same time as well. So that kind of fell through. But I do need to, I would like to ask for a motion from the chairman to place some ads out there for a building inspector on a contract basis.
Okay. Anybody got any questions, any want to ask?
Do you have anybody in mind?
No, I don't.
Let me ask you this, would that be on, like you said, a contract basis would be like Zimmerly was?
Just like it
As
was.
needed basis?
It's on this, there's no retainer fee, there's no salary to it. It's when you work, you get paid, you don't work, you don't get paid. That's that kind of deal.
I'll make a motion that we do whatever's necessary to secure another building inspector.
I second that motion.
Okay, the motion been made and seconded. We run ad for a new building inspector. Any more discussion? Everybody?
We're gonna need one because we got several projects that are fixing to crank up here as soon as the weather breaks, and I'd like to have somebody in place for it.
Everybody for it, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, codes. We got nobody here. JECDB.
Of course, as typically is the situation with JCDB board, we meet the morning following our meeting here. We are scheduled to meet tomorrow morning at 8:15 at Columbia State in Lewisburg. A few things that I would run past you that are going on as far as economic development in Marshall County. Saddle Creek Golf Course, I don't know how many of you besides me and Jack frequent that on any somewhat basis, but they have gone through a bit of an ownership change. They had been closed down for a while, but they do have new ownership in place. It's my understanding that I say ownership, I think it's kind of more
Management, not ownership.
Lease management.
Ownership's a problem.
Yeah, the owner, well, I won't go there, but it's, they're under new lease management, couple that I believe is actually moving in here from out of town.
Arizona, I think.
Somewhere out there, I think that's out of town, so. But my understanding is they plan to have the restaurant back up and going there. I believe having breakfast and lunch and dinner all going on there as well. And hoping to get folks like me that are kind of a on and off again golfer coming out there and spending a little time and spending some money with them. And thankfully folks like Jack are patient with people like me that don't play very often.
Is that restaurant open to the public or is it just for
It'll
golfers?
be open public.
Yeah, anybody, it's not a club.
It's always been open to the public.
Well, where I was leading to, they need to advertise that more. 'Cause I didn't know.
Anybody can go, well, it's when they have it on the sign, you can come up there and play for $20. That's anybody.
I don't know how.
You know, but also, you know, in the same area there, if you look across the street, CKNA expansion still just busting,
That
going
is
along
a
right
big
there.
building they put
I
up
mean,
there.
it's gonna be something else when they get it up. One you may or may not have heard of, and I hope I'm gonna say this right, as many times I've heard Greg Lowe say it, Miawa, Japanese company in the other business park. Many people don't know about out on the west side of town, out by the interstate. They're coming along. If you've been out by there lately, I was by one day this week, and they're coming along with that building out there. I think also, last I had heard, the city was hoping to do another spec building out there as well, to try to attract some companies in here, because that's getting to where that's a selling point with the community. If you've already got a building in place, Companies are looking at that. They don't want to have to spend 6 or 8 months putting a building up. They want to move in and go. So last I had heard, I'll get an update on that in the morning, but they were looking to build up a spec building. A couple other things I'll tell you about, kind of on a local thing. I was by the other night and saw a movie going on at the drive-in. I don't know if that means anything. I do know they have new ownership. Hoping that means that it's going to be back up and going in the spring, but I'm going to try to get a little more information on that.
I hear they hit a snag.
Well, it's kind of they've got some problems with the projector, going to have to be upgraded. But I'm hoping that with seeing something on the screen the other night, maybe they're working on that. One thing I'll tell you about Tennessee Valley News Flash. If you have not heard of that, go home on your computer and Google Tennessee Valley News Flash. This is a young couple of guys, Austin Mowell and Tyler Young. They are from Lewisburg. I believe both are freshmen in college. They had originally started what was called Stormside Storm Center. And when I found out about Stormside, I thought it was somebody my age. Come find out it's 17-year-old kids playing meteorologist, and they're not playing. They're serious business. But they have decided to expand it into an all-encompassing news site, to try to be a go-to, not trying to take anything away from our local newspapers here, but they want to be, another player in the news cycle here, not only in Marshall County, but Lincoln, Bedford, Giles, and whatnot. And along that same idea, when we get into technology, our webmaster has made some updates to our town website. If you haven't checked that lately, go and look at it. We've made a few improvements to it to try to get you a little more real-time news that is happening, instead of having to update that thing and go through a 30-minute process every time you want to change something on it. You can go on there and follow real-time news and weather at any time at townofpetersburg.com. And that's all I've got as far as economic and community development.
That was Tennessee Valley News Flash.
Tennessee Valley News Flash, I believe it is tvnf.com.
Oh,
tvnf.com.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is, and you can tweet and all that good stuff with them as well if you're so inclined to do such a thing.
I don't even know how to spell tweet, let alone do it.
Hey, Corey, the bag, the little shop down here, bean shop, the bean bag shop.
I hadn't really heard anything else out of that.
I put it in. And it sit there and run. I don't know what it's doing. They don't.
Still hustling and bustling in Lewisburg, but I think for the most part, they're still just kind of using this as an off-site storage facility more than anything. I wish we could, we had somebody that was interested in doing something completely different down there about 2 years ago, and I don't know really what happened to that. It just kind of fell off the face of the map. I tried following up with it a few times, and he'd call me back every so often, but then he just stopped returning my calls, my emails, and everything else. So, but there are some things on the horizon, as I alluded to, with needing a building inspector that are, if they come to fruition, I believe will be some good things, especially for our downtown area in the next year. 2014 looks good for us as far as economic development around here.
do we have
Keep crossing their fingers.
Yeah.
do we have anything other than you, Corey, in town that's actually trying to entice business, or anybody but you?
I'm not gonna say I'm the one doing it, it's just,
Well, what
I mean, I give the reports on it, but it's, you've got Mike Wiles and Greg Lowe in Lewisburg and Marshall County that actually are doing a lot as far as putting our name out there. I'm not gonna take any credit for anything that's come here.
Yeah, but we don't have anything that's from the city of Petersburg that's reaching out on a regular basis.
The only thing that I can tell you as far as reaching out, if you go and do and believe it or not, this happens. I'll give you an example. Tom and Jen, when they were getting ready to move here,
I know.
they did a web search
That's
of
right.
Petersburg, Tennessee,
Right.
and that's how they found out how to turn the water on from New Hampshire. You know, I've tried to work so that if somebody, you know, for that instance, say you're getting ready to move here, one of the first things that people do, whether we want to admit it or not, is they go to Google or Bing or Yahoo, and if you type in Petersburg, Tennessee, I think, last time I checked, the first thing that comes up is the town's website. And then, of course, I try to use Twitter and Facebook with the Petersburg Observer, and of course, the world famous 90210, you know, getting that out there as well. So, you know, anything we can do to, and in my opinion, anything that's putting the name of Petersburg out there is you know, just putting it out there. That's all you can do, just keep throwing a line out there, and sooner or later, hopefully you put something and bring it back.
Yeah, I've talked to some other people that are like us that have moved to Petersburg in the last 2 years, basically, and they kind of feel like I do, and some other people that, like Bell Buckle and these other places, we got to find something to hang our hat on.
It is, I agree. You know, and
It'd be a draw.
there's a lot of things that come into that. I really look for Parks and Rec this year, and I don't keep referring to them to that, but I really look for Parks and Rec this year to try to step up the cruise-in type events. That brings people into town. You know, Bell Buckle's got the RC Cola Moon Pie Festival, and I agree. And you know, and even with economic development meetings that I've set into, it's about making your town a destination. Why would I come to Petersburg? Why would I come here?
I don't know if anybody was in Petersburg Saturday night.
Well, and there you go. You know, there's one thing right there with the bluegrass.
Yeah, we had over 100 people Saturday night.
With the bluegrass on the square.
Talking about that, excuse me. The station over there, anybody can park in front, you know, if you got some handicapped people want to park over there, I was down there showing the building to somebody Saturday night, and I noticed nobody had parked out there, and they're welcome to park out there. Somebody that's handicapped, that makes quite a difference.
But you know, that's again, you know, that kind of event, that can be what people know Petersburg for. You know, I don't want to let too many cats out of the bag. Trust me, I'm holding the reins back. But some of these, Angie's mad at me because I won't even tell her about them. But you know, some of the things that I'm hoping are going to come this year, and I've got people that put a lot of faith into me that it's going to happen. I'm looking at one particular project that if it comes, it's going to be a reason for people to be on this square, really throughout the week.
Well, I'd rather you not say nothing about it and it happen, it's you say something that don't happen.
Well, that's why I don't want to let too much out about it. I really don't, because it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
But this guy
Say
that's,
something, he gets out of here.
but this, you know, the guy that has confided this to me, he has not ever given me any reason not to trust him. He's followed through on everything else he's ever said he's going to do. And you know, I'm hitching my wagon to him and hoping he comes through. I'm gonna shut up on JCDB now, though.
All right, Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, very little to tell you about. Cumberland Presbyterian Church has issued their application to rezone from R1 to C1. We will take that up at our next Planning Commission meeting, February, whatever the day that is, first Monday night of the month at 6:30. Invite folks to come and be a part of that. But we'll get that, and then that should be presented to this board at our regular meeting in February, and we should have that wrapped up sometime by the end of March. That will allow them that when they so choose, to go ahead with their expansion project up there. As I think I've told you before, for whatever reason, when the initial zoning was done here in town, the churches were zoned R1, should have been commercial. And I'm in the process still of going around and letting them know, hey, we need to get that updated.
Petersburg gonna do it.
Yeah, we actually discussed that Sunday in our business meeting. That kind of pertains to some projects that we may have in the near future as well. And then one other thing that kind of came up, of course, it's you always hate to talk about a tragedy, But it was a question that came up at our last meeting, and I promised my planning commission members I'd get an answer on it, and I'll kind of give them a head start on it. With the fire that occurred over here back right around Christmas, single wide. Of course, there's always been, people always ask, well, what's the issue with a single wide in town? The issue, the way that the zoning ordinance was laid out, if there was a single wide in place in town prior to 2005, it's good. We can't make them take it out, it's there. But if the question was raised, if one is lost to fire, what is the process from there? With reviewing the zoning ordinance and also with concurring with Will Owen, if it was there prior to the zoning ordinance going in place, if it was approved and it's destroyed, then it can be replaced with another single wide. But so
It has to be
they're not.
updated.
Has to be a newer model than what was there.
Had to be with what,
What was
5
the
years old
what
or
was the
so?
non-conformance on that? I got your email. I didn't.
Non-conforming means that if you have a vacant lot here in town that is an R1 and you want to put a single wide on an R1, that is a non-conforming use.
That's what I thought, but I
So
wasn't.
what he meant by that, and what Mr. Phil's talking about, is anytime, there's something, we have a question like that, I always copy them, the mayor and Angie on it, so that there's accountability for it. Non-conforming means that if the zoning ordinance says you can't do it, that's non-conforming, okay? The way that our zoning ordinance reads, R1 residential district just does not permit a single wide mobile home. R2 does, R1 does not. But the owner over here will be permitted to put a single wide back. What you're referring to is they cannot, stick a mini barn out in the front yard. That would be a non-conforming use. And it has to be, it can't be turned long ways into the lot. It's got to be turned broadside facing the street, all those kind of things. So it has to conform to the ordinance. And I'm done.
Okay. Lord have mercy, now we got Bobby. Fire department.
I'll talk about what we do. Well, first off, we got our cable running here for the internet that we talked about before. We haven't started it yet, but the hardest part was getting the wire to the outside for the internet box that we purchased. So that should be, probably by y'all's next meeting, we'll have it. And for the year last year, we ran roughly 33 calls at the county. They're pretty even, so what kind of calls we went. And then here in the city, we ran 8 calls for the fire and around 50 for the first responder. We haven't received all of our reports back, so there's a few more in all of those, but just some rough estimates. What we got? This other question?
All in all, this is a low year for us that we've had.
50 first responders calls?
Roughly right at 50 that I have reports back that I can confirm. Earlier this year, they had some problems up in our office, and I didn't get some back.
They're on top of it
So,
now.
they're on top of it now, really. But, like I say, it's a little off this year, a little lower this year. I like to say it's because we got a great fire prevention program.
You have a great department.
We'll take it. But I was going to let you know tonight, just give you a little year-end update. Let you know tonight that some of you know the truck over here we've been having a few issues with. We'll be hearing more about that in the upcoming months, probably. We're going to do some checking on it some more ourselves. We've had a couple of people come in and look at it, trying to do it without spending a bunch of money on it until we figure out, what's going on. So we just want to let you know, we did have it out 2 weeks ago, running and pumped it, everything. So we're gonna work on it probably a little bit ourselves, to see, make sure some seals is good. There's some seals under it that's hooked up with silicone instead of gaskets and stuff, that kind of thing. So we're gonna be doing some major work on that, because it's not hard, it's just royal to get to. We tried that before we go any further with it, mainly to have it checked, the way I'm understanding it, they charge between $500 and $800 just to have a school up there and they pump it and say, okay, we think you got this.
When do y'all have to take them back?
But we'll do it again this year.
You don't,
So I don't
Is it in
know, I haven't
summer?
heard the schedule. Yeah, it's summer.
Well, did we get the fuel problem fixed on the first responder end?
So far, it's still Cadillac.
I know they come down to the house.
Yeah. Yeah, so far, this time, it's been good.
We can thank Merle for the truck over. He went over, he happened to think the other day in that cold spell, said, anybody let the heater over? I said, no, they went over and the heater was cut off at the tank. Him and Tim went over and finally got it
He's
lit.
still off down here. We had no heat yet. I don't know if they
Couldn't get
put
it
a,
started.
I don't know if they put a regulator on it or not yet. They didn't bother to light the heater, so.
If it didn't freeze the other night, it's good.
Yeah. Well, keep it warm in them, what we call warm anyway. We just try to keep it where the stuff doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
That's all it needs.
About like it was when I done there. I have put it in a warm building, when you come out, it hit that cold air and it freeze before you got there.
We, like I said, we just want to give you a little update on what's going on over here, sort of our overview, what we've done. Been a ton of training this past year. We've got a bunch scheduled to come up. They're changing it every year. By the time we get us all caught up where we want to be, and then they'll come along and change it all. And here we go again, so.
Bobby, is there any grants out there?
There's still a few. They're hard to get now. Most of them match grants.
All the school you have to take, and I know what you have to take. There should be some way.
There's still some grants out there. They've got really hard to get. Most of them now is match grants. There's very few truck grants that I've seen awarded. There's been some equipment grants. We've applied for some down here. That costs. So we're facing it down here this year, replacing. We're having to buy all new track gear and everything. And it's just skyrocketed. So, just for general numbers, it'll run me about $1,800 a man just for this set of turnout gear that he must have to be on the first place. And that's not including airbags, any of that kind of stuff. They're up like $6,000-7,000 a person now. It's just got unreal. But other than that, we're still Cadillac along. Everything's still good. We're still running calls. As you seen a couple weeks ago, we had that down there. You always hate to have it. It worked out. So, guys done. I wasn't there. Guys done an excellent job on it. Anytime you save a train, save part of a trailer, they've done a heck of a job. And we was able to save the back half of it and actually salvage some of his personal, the higher dollar personal stuff that he is going back there. So it didn't look like much when they got through, but it wasn't.
Didn't look like to me, nothing was salvaged.
he felt blessed, I think,
Yeah.
by what y'all saved.
I mean, that's what we ended up saving was a lot of this higher dollar stuff that is unreplaceable stuff.
That's the sad thing here with all the older houses and the trailers and stuff. There's just,
Absolutely.
So
it's just near impossible.
Especially house trailers. Ain't very often at all, the same one. But anyway, we just giving you an update on your truck. and-
You people do a great job, Bobby, and I appreciate it. I hope the other citizens in the town appreciate it, but I do.
I hope so. I'll tell you guys. They put in a ton of hours down here. I'll just make your inches, this group down here that I got down here, they put in as many hours as anybody in the community.
Well, I thank you for your service too, and your training. This young man here is
We're glad to do it.
good
for you guys. Yeah, I'm glad to have you. Sometimes it's the headache, it won't go away, and sometimes when he goes away, you say,
That's what he said.
"That don't feel right."
That's what he said about you last
So you used to it.
Toddy will.
When he quits asking questions, you gotta.
No time soon for me.
Rudy never stops asking questions.
You doing the park and rec?
I don't have anything on parking and rec.
Just they're, they'll have their monthly meeting at the end of the last.
This is our
fourth
down month.
And they'll be getting their activities together for this year. Of course, I guess their next big activity will be their Easter egg hunt, or extravaganza
We're
or
sending out our
whatever.
sponsor letters and then we'll.
And getting their sponsor renewals back. And, I don't like to tell Angie I told you so too many times, but she didn't ever believe that would work whenever I proposed it to her 3 years ago. But that's,
It's a
we
big
got
part of our fundraising, for sure.
a lot of great sponsors that help make that possible. And, anytime we can, we won't thank them because they really help get some great activities back here in town for the citizens. So,
Did Parks and Rec do the Christmas parade?
yes.
Yeah.
My goodness, what a
It's a big
what a
undertaking.
feather that was with it, because that thing was wonderful.
They have done a fantastic job, just fantastic.
And I will say too, I'm glad you brought that up, just today, some folks had asked if there was gonna be some video footage of the parade, and for whatever reason, our cameraman's equipment did not cooperate that night, so.
Wonder who that was.
Unless you wanted to see some real fuzzy pictures going by, I don't think you wanted to watch it, so I apologize for that, but I'll try to do better next year.
Mine didn't turn out good neither. You tricked me and went the other way.
I think the moisture had something to do with it because I think what happened is the lens kept fogging up and it wouldn't let it focus. It was constantly trying to focus in and out, so it just didn't do good at all. So we'll do better next year.
You through? Parks. Before we adjourn, I'd like to introduce Trish Bruton to the board. Trish, would you stand up, please? Trish is gonna do us a good job.
Thank you.
Y'all can count on it. Now, I'll make a motion we adjourn.
I hear a second.
Second.
Anybody want to vote on this?
Out
Everybody in
of
favor,
here.
say aye.
Let's get out of here.